Welcome thee to Burden of Command, an interesting game premise. Imagine an turn-based combat with sexagons and choose your own adventure book style because you are leading a troop of soldiers during the World War II scenery, and you can have a lot of choices to do in the leadership. And depending on what you choose, how you interact with your group, how you talk to them, kind of orders you give them, etc. This whole spiel will influence how the journey goes on and how easy or hard you'll have it in your next situation. Overall, I really find this premise a lot, very, very interesting. Also, it uses a lot of pictures from World War II scenarios, and I think for fans of deep down strategy and turn-based combat, this could be a gem, a hidden gem. Burden of Command. We're gonna also have the developer on coming Friday over as a guest. We're gonna do a little bit of an interview, see behind the scenes, fry his brain, and then play some more of it. And yeah, no further ado, let's hop on in. Burden of Command, Sergeant Grand. Campaign. We are going to start a new campaign, Cottonbalers. Start. Story. You want to immerse yourself in the narrative in the lives of your men with less emphasis of tactical challenge. Your Cottonbalers start with an extra 100 XP and trust. A good bit for a player who rarely plays tactical games. You value equally both tactically and narrative. Let's go for balanced for the showcase. Use the VSW to move the camera. September 1942, Virginia, United States. What year was again the ending of World War II? Warning. This campaign occasionally shows disturbing images of graphic violence intended to convey the true burden of war. If this is not a fit for you, then please consider refunding the game now. That is a very interesting and straight up premise that the developers warn you of their content and tell you that you should refund now. Interesting. Pick anywhere.
Hello, this is Luke Hughes, lead designer for Burden of Command.
Hey, Luke,
and I'm breaking through the fourth wall today. Ouch! To thank you. Thank you for taking a risk on something new. A leadership RPG. Now I imagine you're here hoping to test your mettle as a leader, emotionally, morally, tactically, in World War II.
Yes.
For us to give you that experience, it means a risk for you. What's the risk? Well, a new approach obviously requires a learning curve. And we all know learning curves can produce confusion, hell, even frustration. And playtesting has shown that there is a learning curve for Burden. Two kinds. The easier part, where you learn new mechanics, not tried before, and then the much harder ones, where we break some of your likely pretty ingrained assumptions about how, for example, repeated shooting will kill an enemy unit. We instead do something called the 4Fs, which we'll get into later. The point is, I'm going to be breaking in occasionally here to help you with video demonstrations, along with some design explanations about why we break these conventions. But remember, it's all to give you a credible leadership role-playing experience. And hey, we know these fourth wall break-ins may be jarring at times, but extensive playtesting has shown these videos can really help your journey. So please, keep an open mind, and hey, Cottonbaler, good luck out there.
Cottonbaler. Interesting idea of breaking the fourth wall and jumping into personally giving you an tutorial. I can't recall seeing this ever happen in a game so far. 24 September 1942, Camp Pickett, Virginia. Commence my journey. Morning dew dribbles down the bright leaves of the forest. Ahead, Platoon Sergeant Bennett leads the way beneath the company canopy. That should be the hill, he notes, and gestures towards the rise of the east. Bit of a walk, but we're close. On his back is slung the standard issue American M1 rifle in near twin to your own. You said that 10 months ago, Sergeant. Sounds like my wife when she says we're sure soon arriving on the hilltop. If you say so, Lieutenant, Sergeant, Bennett replies. He sounds confident, but looking like you've got a plan. It's certainly a part of leadership. For Sergeant and Lieutenants alike. Sergeant Bennett has been in the army since before the big draft in 40. He knows his way around. So here I can choose. I've been in the army a while too. Gives us prestige +1. Is how much influence you have with your superiors after a scenario is over. We could say I am recently commissioned. That gives us trust +10 to our men and how they react in the scenario. 10 trust is worth approximately 1 prestige or loyalty. Or I'm a reservist. Gives us loyalty +1. Background set to reservist. Loyalty is how much influence you have over the men after a scenario in your army. Who are we? Let's say we were just recently recruited and are in reservist. You know your former traits, though, it take a few months to blow the rust off and fight off the civilian pounds. Oh wait, reservist is like you've been in the army already and you're in civility again. My bad. Misunderstood. It's good you had time to do that because the Germans and Japanese seem determined to light the world on fire. US has yet sent many divisions overseas, but you know it's only a matter of time. Time to move on.
So here I am in boot camp somewhere in Virginia, 1942, just like you will be soon. I'm going to start with our first concept that will be familiar and unfamiliar. Your first learning curve aspect.
Okay.
So, like games like XCOM and frankly many tactical games these days, we use action points. We call them orders, and they have the green dots. So this leader has 4 action points.
And
no surprise, when he say moves, he spends an action point, which you can see happening there.
Okay, good. Fair enough. Your army will go to war in earnest soon as the officer's duty will be to lead the men of your platoon. You just have to find them first. Okay, so we have over here Lieutenant Unnamed. And we have over here some engineers as a crew. So we can grab him and move over here. Does it show us how much action points we'll lose for this distance? Or is this one action, but it says already too far? Let's head over there. There's 1 action point to move up there. Okay. Closer now, hills and mountains are always further than they seem. The gray circle that you saw float upon indication. Every unit has some, and you can't do anything but get shot at with that one. Orders are spent to move a unit. You can usually move a unit multiple times. Makes sense. So again, the leader, and we're moving up there. Another move action has been done. It's a good view, good enough to see a few stragglers from your first platoon. Looks like the kitchen patrol is still on the way to the obstacle course, Sergeant. Bennett notes. And if you let them dog things, they'll never get there before dinner. I'll order them to move up. No change to verbosity. Verbosity is one of the 3 character traits. It reflects how much a leader likes to talk. Verbosity does not impact the tactical battlefield, but may add personalization to conversation. I could yell at them. Verbosity is one of the 3 character traits. Okay. Or I can wave them forwards. Okay, so I could be talkative. Been like running my mouth a lot. Not talk at all and just gesture. Or give them an order. Interesting. I'll order them to move up.
This is a leadership RPG. We're always going to be focused on bringing out leadership aspects.
Okay.
In the Army, leaders are in charge of platoons, which is a group of squads or companies. And so there's a command structure, and we do that too. This is a squad here, part of my rifle platoon.
Okay.
For it to do something, I've got to order it. Or, if you want to make it simpler, activate it. So, did you see an order came up on me?
Oh.
Not just the squad. The squad paid its
Because I'm
action
commanding
point,
them to
so
go
I'm just
there.
going to say order from now on. But I paid an order because effectively I ordered the squad.
Okay, so we have to kind of not min-max, but using our AP action points in a clever way, as it seems like they cannot move on their own, but needs a commander nearby to tell them where to go. I guess there is probably a possibility to have them move on their own, but without, or with some, you know, negative traits to it if they act on their own and not without a command. Squad must be activated by utilizing their own orders. A leader will spend an order to activate a squad when that squad initially shoots, moves, etc. Interesting. Left click on the squad and then move over there. And he activates also a point for telling them to move up. Call for a double time, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bennett asks. The squad first activates.
This squad has been activated.
Yeah.
The leader no longer needs to pay an order to activate it. So let's move it, and you'll see no action from the leader. He didn't spend another order.
So just for the first movement, or activating them, it costs an AP point. That's good to know. So every other move is free of APs from the leader. So they now occupy both at the same time.
I'm going to come down there, join my squad, lead, grab them both, and go somewhere. Now this time, they'll both pay an order. But be careful, it's not an activation order. They're both moving. You don't get a free ride. You got to pay for the move too. So, there you go. We're similar to games you're used to. Action points. But in this case, they're really orders, and they involve things like squad activation.
Okay, gotcha. Here they are, Sergeant Bennett notes as Sergeant Layton and his kitchen patrol reach the summit. Layton, can you see the obstacle course from here? Breathless, Sergeant Layton nods in the affirmative. His fellow spot peelers are all but ready to drop. Clearly they can't go very far with us. Hey there, Dragon Lady. If only they were in a better shape, they're no part of the common exercise. Clearly they can't go very far with us. From this side you can also see a little stream whose serpentine channel marks the bounds of your own training area. The stream isn't far, which is a good thing. The stream, like other terrain, costs more movement points to cross that flat open land. You want to always be able to get somewhere in a single order, especially with a squad in tow. One last push should put our boots beside the stream. Spent perhaps, but in position nonetheless. However, first you will have to detach from Layton's squad. So, the first left click of a hex selects both units in it. Okay. The second left click of either a leader portrait or the squad below will select only that unit. Oh, interesting. Don't follow Luke's example in the video, and instead rebel and left click the leader portrait repeatedly until only the leader is highlighted. So, one. Left click the leader portrait repeatedly until only the leader is highlighted. There it goes, only the leader. Move the leader here. For a move. Oh, it even asks me if you want to. Probably that's a quality of life patch that got involved. Just Lieutenant. There we go. Moving into the wooden area near the stream.
Honestly, it would have been simplest to design the game as 1 unit per hex, like many games do. But frankly, it just felt wrong not to have leaders in with their men leading them. So we committed to simple stacking. 1 leader, 1 squad per hex.
Okay.
So then how do you manage selection? It's simple. Click any unit in the hex, both select, because you probably want to move both of them normally. But maybe you just want to move the leader this time. Click again.
Okay.
And here
I think I accidentally ended that explanation video. But it just showed us how to split the units. Down by the stream. Oh, let's take a breather. Sergeant Bennett suggested. We're almost there. At this point, your leader should be out of orders. 3 to move, your leader. 1 to activate the squad. The KP squad itself moved twice the normal amount for Green Rifle squad. Orders refresh at the start of new game turn. Okay. No need for questions. Proceed. Out of order means we can't do anything. I'm okay with that. Very true. Once those are gone, a unit can't do much on the target as well. Since there are currently no enemies units, just pass the round until a new game turn begins. Okay. Then over here behind me, we can pass turn. The forest thins. At last you spy hints of civilization. A little wooden bridge that crosses a gully and a low wooden wall beyond it. The clearing should be just up ahead, Lieutenant. Bennett calls back to you. A movement auto can span a single hex, or 4, but the auto cost remains the same. Ah. So I can move over here for 1, or for 4, and it's still a 1 AP, no matter the distance. Fair enough? Moving over here. The assembly point is a simple one marked by a low routine wall, stripped with white. At the side of it, Sergeant Bennett flashes you a grin and stashes the map. There's a figure waiting in the lee of the wall, a fellow officer with the silver bars of a captain upon his collar and a dreaded clipboard in his hand. You're nearly late, Lieutenant. The field umpire notes that he regards you. The pencil in his grasp has doomed plenty of officers to obscurity with a swift judgment. No excuse, sir. Salute. Nod to him. Just salute. Sergeant Bennett gives him a firm warning cough, but it comes too late. The field umpire shakes his head slightly. When out in the field, his gestures are apt to attract snipers. Okay, well, makes sense, makes sense. We get sarcasm. Sarcasm notes are sharp tongue as a character is. Sarcasm does not have any impact. Being sarcastic may provide personalization during the interaction fiction. I'm not really sarcastic. I even mostly don't like sarcasm myself. Remain silent as it's proper. Today you will undertake a leadership exercise consisting of no less than 3 separate field problems. You and your men will be assessed based on outcomes including both objective achieved and casualties sustained. You will take command of your rifle squad and we will proceed. Any questions? This is a live fire exercise? No, the field emperor says. There may be occasional live rounds fired safely for effect, but otherwise, no unit in this possession of live rounds. Budget constraints. Where's my rifle squad? Over there. They should not be hard to find. What's the mission? We'll get to that shortly. They like their surprises. That's all. We just need to find a squad. Doubt we'll need more than a few waypoints on the map to figure out where they are. Lead the way. This path may use the fused movement points, but it doesn't utilize terrain. But this is an exercise. Control and right click to establish the waypoints. And stick to covering terrain when possible. Makes sense. Walking through the trees is definitely better than walking in the open on the river. Finish the exercise before turn 4. Don't get anyone killed. Okay, select the leader to move. Blam! The field empire calls out from behind as you move over the open ground. Lieutenant Einstein, you've moved over open ground where a sniper could see you. That is potentially a fatal risk to take, and that leader is no help to anyone. Right, waypoints. Exactly. He just explained it to me, and I still walked into the open. Lieutenant, you are revived from the sniper call. Continue with the exercise. Our squad looks beat, Sergeant Bennett says. It's true, by all appearances, they can't possibly take another step. So I might say the morale is low. Right now, it's dog dick low. Like, they've been suppressed by enemy fire, but they don't have to stay that way. Now, do they, Lieutenant? Consider kicking them into shapes? They will obey my commands. Yeah, in a stress situation, I would not start to give them speeches or whatnot. I will bark at them commands. They've been trained to, yes, Sergeant Bennett says, and maybe they'll work today. If it doesn't, then I'll kick the slackers around a bit.
Thank you, Sergeant Bennett. Sergeant Bennett is reminding me I need to teach you about the backbone of your company's performance. It's morale. So here we have a good order squad. It's green, no suppression, has 2 orders.
Yeah.
Moves about 3 hexes. Tries to move under fire. Pass the morale check to do that, about 70%. And if it fires at an enemy, 50-50. Now notice those initiative wheels. Donuts, I like to call them. You really want to win initiative. Because if you get initiative, you fire first, you suppress the enemy, reduce their morale, and then their fire back will be weak. Now let's look by contrast at this shaken company. It's yellow. It's lost about half its morale to suppression. First thing to notice, subtly, is it only moves 2 squares forward. It can still retreat because they're more cautious because they're shaken. Also, let's notice one more thing. Only 1 order. So the morale is actually reduced the total quantity of actions you can give this squad. Pretty bad. And guess, if you fire at them, not going to go so well. You're going to lose. And the morale check's unlikely. Finally, let's look at these poor guys. About 9 points of suppression. They're red. They're basically cowering. They won't even move forward. Though you can still move them back to get rallied, maybe behind a hill or in some cover. I wouldn't bother trying to fire. Not going to work. And you can give up on assault. Now, friend, let's have a little fun here. This is a 3-star unit. Very experienced. What do you notice? It's got
1
3
extra
orders,
AP.
not 2. That's a big win. And guess how it's going to do in firefights? Very well. And guess how it's going to do on morale checks? Hey, it doesn't even have to pass a morale check to move under fire. Work hard, Captain. Maybe you'll have units like this eventually. Lead them well.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, Chad. Time to rally. To rally unit, you must not have expended any orders during the turn. You must be fresh. Your men want to guidance and leadership, and that's why you're here with them. So, select the leader in the rally thing. They're cowering. And over here I have abilities, where I could enact my squad. Is it right click? There we go. Rally command has been done. That order did the trick, Sergeant. So, I've rallied them. When can I move? The unit has no available orders. It is spent. But next turn, its order will be refreshing. Okay. It's enough that the men are on their feet. If the enemy doesn't interrupt, the man will be ready to move shortly. Indicate as much to the umpire. He holds up a white flag for his opposite numbers across the field. Whenever blue flags are exchanged, the exercise will shortly resume. As long as the other side has a leader with an order, the turn won't end, unless both sides pass their round without spending any orders.
Anyone got a light?
Okay, let's turn the lights. We have here apparently some enemy movements. 3 turns left. You're ready. The men are ready. The enemy is likely ready as well. The enemy had the rounds to activate units, but did nothing with it. Interesting that the enemy did nothing to respond. Wonder what that clipboard wants to happen next? Sergeant Bennett asked quietly. As if on cue, the field umpire clears his throat. All right, Lieutenant Einstein, the enemy squad is in that house down there, he says and ignores Bennett as he points. You can hear the clockwork tick of his watch, faint but steady. Deploy your men and take them under fire, and remember, this exercise is timed. This has been a tough one. Even odds, Sergeant Bennett remarks. There was a lot of that in the last war. Wow. Gas mask even. Original description for this photo. This is how the modern dog boy, armed with a semi-automatic Garand rifle, appeared when he shows his fire power to an enemy. Image courtesy of the Signal Corps SC 119944. Movement in the trees. A dozen men and more in Olive Darab working their way closer. These are your men, sweaty and dusted from an obstacle course. And the back of the Sergeant Grant urging the stragglers along. No rest for the wicked, this is the army. I get you, Lieutenant. We're out here to train so we can fight. When we're facing off against the Germans, we'll have to fight like we trained. The men we may not like it, and they'll sure as hell gripe about it. The Grant over here will get them gear. I trained myself. Is that so? Let's bolster their spirits, Sergeant Bennett. That's always boost morale. Though it doesn't last for long. Maybe it will just as long enough for what comes next. Okay, so we get boost morale.
Remember Sergeant Bennett's wise comment that morale is the backbone of your company's performance? Well, what do you think the role of leadership is then? Of course, it's to manage that morale.
Okay.
Let's look at your tools. One of them is bolster. So here we have a good order unit. And if we were to attack, it'd be 50-50 on attack. It moves 3 squares. It has 70% morale check. But let's bolster it. A lot more movement. Hey, it's going to pass that morale check. And look at the firefight.
Oh.
Bolster enhances an already good unit so it is significantly more effective, especially for firefights. The experience and the trust of the leader comes to bear. Don't make the mistake, however, of thinking of bolster as sort of a poor man's rally, rally for one action. I've moved the leader down to this shaken squad, half morale.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, it's pretty poor for a firefight right now. Maybe I'll bolster it and it'll be fine. Well, there's some improvement. If you studied this, you'd see the suppressed predictions are a little bit better, but you're still going to lose
very
initiative.
slightly.
It's not a rally. If you want a unit with shaken or below morale to improve, rally. Rally, by contrast, fully restores morale for the long term. Of course, it does take a turn to do, so you'll have to pick the time and place for when you rally, for when you bolster, or for when you orchestrate your platoon and company to be effective all at once, rather than dribble in an attack on the enemy.
Not bad. Quite a complexity behind this all. Also greatly increases the initiative in firefight and the chance of initiative in assault. That's good. Bolster the leader and squad. So, let's bolster you guys. Right click. My bad. We're ready, Sergeant, Bennett says. Where'd you, Lieutenant? Let's see. The reinforcement squad? Let's go from there. With this bolster leader and squad, detach the leader, move to and rally this squad. Move this squad with waypoints. We have the enemy over here. Is bolster the family-friendly name of drunks? Maybe. So, shift. Too far to move. Move this bolstered leader in squad. So I would like to move only the leader. Wait a bit. Right click. Okay, now I have only the leader. Good. Move. Enemy held objective. Sergeant Grant stands and salutes as you approach. No need, Sergeant. Not during the field problem. Of course, Lieutenants. From the groans that rise behind him, the men definitely disagree. Because with clippers will demand as much. Let's get them on their feet. Yes, Lieutenant. Grant replies and then turns to you. Just that. But you know there's only so much as Sergeant can do. The rest will fall to you. Good man, Sergeant Bennett says, as the squad stops loafing. I expect you'll have my job someday. Time to rally the men. All squads are led by the sergeants, or if there are casualties, corporals. They're the ones that receive orders and act upon them. Okay. So, their morale is not looking so feisty, therefore we're gonna... This is rally, this is bolster. We want to rally this crew over here.
Time to step up, ladies!
Exactly. Heads down. Group not selected. If I move them, that will force us an action as well. Because we activated the squad. Therefore, we're gonna right click. Move up here. And you cannot move anywhere anyone else. Good. Turn 4. 2 turns left. We're at the time limit, sergeants. We should prepare to open fire. Shoot here if you're out of orders and the round until then. So there's nothing I can do over here. I have 4 commands left. Either Lopez, how you doing? I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. And move in the woods. There they are, Sergeant Bennett says, as your men pass the word that they have signed movements in the house. But those damn wolves give better cover than anything we've got. Nearby the Empire with the clipboard makes a note, a lengthy one. Okay, let's prepare to open fire. Candidates for infantry rifle team training at Fort Benning. Interesting. Give the men some direction and then Arms will take a note. Every little bit helps to build up for fire against the enemy before they do the same to us. Left click to select the units you want and right click on the enemy to shoot. Okay, fair enough. So they're in there. We have a very high initiative chance, so we're definitely going to shoot first. Also, although they're sitting on horses over there. I thought for a second they're on donkeys, but they're not. So we're going to move in as well with you guys. It's another activate squad thing. And then the whole crew over here will move up. You want to charge over the open field? I don't want to charge over the open field. No, no, no. So, you guys start shooting. Nice. Flanked is impressed. There's some fires coming back. I know the Emperor was pushing us forward, but our squad just opened fire without a plan. Sergeant Bennett says, I bet we could get as good as the Jerry's if we have time to. Unsupervised and poorly invigorated fire likely results in a little suppression. The field Empire remarks and writes something sharply in the margin of the clipboard. Whistles blow, the exercise holds as the umpires get to work figuring out the damage of the enemy. Sergeant Bennett waits behind you. Hold the exercise! Lieutenant, you've went over the first squad and formed them up properly prior to the attack. However, you failed to do the same for the third squad. This would have resulted in a number of your men being killed and time wasted until you could regroup for a full assault against a now prepared enemy. Just nod. Failure to contact third squad, you put your men into a position they couldn't win. You can see that now. See to the men. Whoever's in charge here and of higher rank, there's no point arguing or protesting, especially not when a platoon needs to be organized. Okay. Sergeant Bennett falls in as you head back to your platoon. No matter what you choose, the ump was going to find faults, Sergeant Bennett says. Like being married, but without the fun parts. Hell, I bet getting something wrong was the point of the lesson. Rallying a squad was a good idea because if we're in for a penny, then we're in for a pound. Never heard that. Despite what the umps might say, the enemy couldn't be any more prepared after 5 minutes wait because the bullets hadn't started flying. Sounds true. Probably had to teach this lesson over and over again. That were anybody. War, actual war, will be hell of a thing. That is what I say. Leaders have to lead, not just when things are going well, but also when the chips are down. There's a lot to take in. You will have to keep your eyes and ears open. Okay, there's the encyclopedia if you need anything. Fair enough. No one out of action, sir? Fantastic. Continue with the story. Now the tutorial is over, and I guess now the real part starts.
A good leader needs to be able to think ahead, anticipate a situation, and make a decision based on the best information available.
The last of fighting dies down. Mission: draw the referees called it draw. Nothing you could do about it. This is my duty. And just like that, the exercise is over. The next will begin shortly. Oh, there's more exercises? So, camp pickets, 24th. Click to read what they read. Camp Picket, Virginia. Greetings from Scrollable Zoomable. You're a girl with star-spangled heart? Join the walk now. Thousands of army jobs need flying. Women's Army Corps, United States Army. Interesting. That they put a lot of actual World War II input into this whole spiel. Headquarters 45th Infantry Division. Engineer Battalion of Officers Cornered. Captain Harry. You see the lieutenant that we've talked to earlier? Can't spot him. Aid your men. Continue your journey. Aid my men. Resources you spend on your men, mouse over for more. Loyalty, prestige, rebels. The captain earns extra trust and XP based on man versus mission performance. You can see overall a unit's status at a glance. Select the unit. Decide where to help. Make a change. The cost is above it. You can undo. Global undo. Okay. During training, only XP and trust will be available to modify. Casualties and combat stress will appear only when you enter combat, missing this image. And they'll need these other actions to aid your man. I see. First platoon. Second platoon. Third platoon. Fourth platoon. Stern. First squad. Experience gain. XP. 5 prestige. Bum, bum, bum. Do you see how much prestige I have available to spend? There's some wines over here. Hello, first squad. Loyalty and prestige cost 2. So I have 8 loyalty and 2 prestige up there. If I click that, it takes it away. Fair enough. The rest we cannot improve as we don't have any other points free to spend. Save and exit. So we aided our man. Let's continue our journey. Okay, so there's like some passive improvements after combat as well, where you can bullshit their morale, make them stronger, and so on and so forth. Why the complexity hidden behind the initial start? Wow, I'm impressed. I like it. Black screen. Oh my. Did we crash it? Oh, there we go. Gerald Jankley.
Well, it was infantry. And infantry is different than cavalry. We didn't have horses, but they had light tanks, the cavalry did.
So what kind of training then would you have in the infantry?
Bayonet, hand grenade. You don't throw a hand grenade like a baseball, you lob it.
Yeah, I remember that from army trainings as well. Gerald Jankley. Even interviews with vets, that's interesting. I hope some of the income goes into vet awareness and supporting people who had some trauma and injuries from war. I mean, it would be great to not have war at all and don't need that, but sadly, it is a thing. The soldiers of the platoon are wary in their boots as they march back to their starting places. Platoon Sergeant Bannock glances at you with an unspoken question. Let them rest and worn out. The men will be ready for calming exercise and suffer no suppression. They will also acquire no experience. The men will be slightly fatigued and suffer very little suppression. They will also acquire very little experience. Platoon Sergeant Bannock glances at you and the unspoken questions of whether to quicken or slacken the pace lingering between you. Double time it. Bennett passes along your orders, followed by a few choice insults that put the man into columns. As the assembly area, the field umpire with the captain bars gives a little nod and recites his expected line. This field problem concerns fire and movement. Culminating with an assault upon the objective. Expect this time your platoon will have support from your company's weapon platoon. Heavy weapons coming up, Lieutenant, Sergeant Bennett notes as a dozen men from the weapon platoon hustle over. They don't have really 30 calls yet, just logs painting black. This is supposed to be as heavy as the real thing. But the beefy officers leading the weapon platoon carry a log as if they were no heavier than a baseball bat. Lieutenant Stern. Hey Stern, we about to kick off. Not without us, Stern calls back, his voice carrying well across the field. You're almost late, Lieutenant, the field umpire notes. Is he saying that to everybody? It was a long run from the target range, Stern replies evenly. But I'll be the crowds will be doing the running when we take the crack at them. Yes, well, today's objective is for combined armed assault of the farmhouse down there. Time will be, as it ever, as a factor. But until it's clear that the Emperor is done talking. Sterling's your way. Tell him what to hit. It will hit it hard. Well, we pretend to do so anyways, though. Back to your platoon, lieutenants. The field umpire says. You're allowed only limited communication while the exercise is paused. In particular, the weapons platoon will be initially unavailable. Understood. Good, because it's part of the exercise, the field umpire replies, and that is apparently that. Remember, rifles first, then the machine gun. Stern gives an annoying nod. Okay, rifle squad. Shooting expands up to 2 orders. 1 order to move. And 1 order to shoot. 2 orders to move. Okay, so MG team is 1 order to shoot and 2 orders to move. And we have here 1 order to move and shoot. Mortar, 2 orders to shoot, 2 orders to move. 1 order to move or shoot. We use bolster, rally, and press. We've got everything but tanks, Sergeant Bennett remarks. Unit gain temporary morale. If the leader is present, shooting and assault become even more effective. Suppression removed via rally. Suppression by combat shock. Casualties. Okay.
Bennett tells me you're progressing, LT. So today we get to talk about tactics.
Thank you,
not
Luke.
just mechanics. Without further ado, why don't we go to, I think, the core of how we're different from most tactical games that the casual gamer or others might be familiar with, namely bang, 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 you're dead games.
XCOM reference and
This is true a fair number of tactical
Divinity.
World War II games too. But I don't think of reality. You know, people don't want to die. You fire at them, they're going to get down behind the stone wall, and your bullets aren't going to do much. So, instead you need what's called the 4Fs. So here we are in Germany. You've got elements of a rifle platoon. You've got Germans up north. And your goal is to suppress them first. You're not going to succeed in killing them. They're in pretty good cover. And they're going to put their heads down. So you've started firing. But it's not just bang, bang, bang even for suppression. You have to be smart. You have to use your leadership. You have to bolster. Improving their fire. The leader is directing the fire here. He's using a heavy weapon, which is intimidating. Higher rate of fire. Puts more bullets around the squad. And, you know, when you hear bullets whizzing by, you start to be suppressed, meaning you're keeping your head down.
SMG's
And
fighting
you can
twice.
see the color bars here are telling us the state of the enemy's morale. They've gone from green to yellow, and they will shortly be at red. They've been doing an effective job here. He's suppressed.
There we go. Okay, interesting. A whistle blows. The field problem begins. So, guess for breath. I guess they're a little bit pushed to the limits. So we have the rifle squad over here. Right click to shoot. This consumes 1 leader order up to 2 rifle squad orders. Let's take a shot. They're surprised. And they're shooting back. Stone walls stop bullets, lieutenants. But they are not invincible over there. We've got the firepower. Let's have the other squad keep their heads down until Stern is ready. Squad, prepare to fire. You give the order and your men take aim. So. Let's shoot over there as well. We have 1 the advantage. There's some shots coming. The signal sergeant Grant across the way. He replies with an equal vigor and gets the other squad into position. A glance through your binocular reveals Private Roberts as the soldier squints through the circular iron sights at the distant target. Beside him is Private Hancock, who apparently has again misled the protective ears on the other side of his submachine gun. No doubt to remove something he considers to be a distraction. Do a little shooting myself. Keep my weapon slung. Let's do a little shooting myself. Without ammo, the trigger does not move, but you have been on the range enough to know it would kick hard. Trouble is, at this range, the iron sight nearly covers the target. It's probably it for rifle work, Sergeant says, as a reference with their calculation. But we could give them a taste of 30 cal instead. Same rounds, but lots more of them. We had the permission to use radio. No radios are available. However, we do have the flags. The Empire waves at the set of flags marked radio. You could always send a runner, of course. Slower, but more reliable if they don't get shot. The rifles did some work, the MG can do more. The rifles took easy, accurate shots. The MG can spit out a lot more lead, but alone isn't enough. That was probably the lesson the Emperor wanted to teach you. Signal the sterns with flags. You signal the stern with the flags, you're signaling back to acknowledge. All the while the enemy keeps their heads down.
We further reinforce that sense of limited command and control by dividing the turn into leader rounds. If it's your leader round, you only get to lead your men, and you don't get to lead them during Stern's leader round.
To get heavy weapons involved, you'll have to switch leaders by ending the round. The enemy will then have a chance to react by taking their own round. That can be helped right now. Stern confirms the message. The Empire marks his clipboard. In just a little bit, the real star of this show will become the machine guns. These can spit out a lot of firepower on the Stern's command. Coordination takes time. Players round, enemies round, Stern's round, enemies round, players round. Plus activate at least one squad under his command. His squad needs not to expend all their orders.
That end toward the enemy.
So you could activate the squad, but do not do so yet. Okay, let's end the rounds. Open fire with the MG. You want to bolster them?
Get the 30 cal ready.
Let's bolster them. And now shooting. That's a sound I hear in fear, especially since the machine gun is firing at the enemy beyond the effective range of their rifles. Sergeant Bennett declares, and that's before they get a taste of mortar. How does the War of Saxons on the Saxagons? Where it is so far? Very intriguing. There's a very deep mechanic behind all this. What I find interesting is you have action points to, move the attack. But in order to activate a troop to do their movements and attacks, you need to have a commander nearby that uses his order to give them access to movement and whatnot. So you cannot move them around freely. It's basically your leader commanding them to go there and shoot the target, and spends on action point on his side as well. So you have to kind of plan around between giving commands and using your commander himself to bolster morale, or go into the same sexagon as your troops are, and help them out with morale issues, because getting shot at is scary. Everything is timed. There's a lot of firepower worth the weight of carrying it forward. But if we really want to make them huddle and puddle in their boots, we'll need the mortars. April 23rd, 1942. I also find it interesting that they have a lot of real photography that they, of course, worked a little bit, so it's not black and white. Available to showcase the scenario. Very visual, choose your own adventure kind of thing. So the mortars don't need to be able to see the enemy directly to lob shells at them. You just need Stern to be in a position to spot the fall of the rounds. Okay, so you need your leader to see where the target hits. Makes sense.
Lay it on him.
So, mortar team. We're on the Stern. We want the 60mm. And then a right-click mortar on this covering units. Floom! Wow. You found, fired, and fixed but no
Some of you will
casualties.
recognize this. But note there weren't any casualties. So, now we have to, ideally, flank and finish. And Dearborn, let's hope you can do the job here. So it's really about sort of laying down the field work for success. There's a lot of games that focus on drama of melee, but from what I've read, for instance, in Leo Murray's book, actually most assaults led to surrender or retreat because people suppressed don't really want bayonets in the stomach.
Makes sense, makes sense. A moment of calm amidst the chaos, mortars fired. Attack against the beyond the flank of the leading hostile elements, followed by support platoon attacking hostile flank directly. What is the exercise basically what we're doing right now? Move on with the exercise. There we go, Lieutenant. There ain't nothing a soldier can do about the shell that has his name on it. However, the squad isn't considered dead, merely pinned. Let's go on it. Let's take him in the flank, Sergeant Bennett says. Then fights hard if you hit them where the kidneys are. The odds of successful initiation and assaults can vary greatly. Even a moderately suppressed squad will almost never be able to manage it. But if a squad isn't in good morale, gets bolstered and takes the enemy in the flank, well, they will almost always commence the assault. Okay, so they are suppressed. They're covering now. That means I can use end the round and switch over to the rifle squad. Oh, okay. True, because we took the other leader first. So now he's leading. I see, I see. We want first to bolster our units over here. Right click, my bad.
That's
There we
the
go.
way!
Assault the enemy. Now we go to bayonets. The success chance is very high. Let's go. It's left click. There we go. Spawn activated.
Don't stop!
They're exposed to enemy fire. They didn't shoot really well. And now we took him over. Fantastic. Either easy. How you doing? That's the way, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bennett waves you over as the enemy soldiers in the red armbands run off. Maybe harder overseas, but we've got the method down. Behind the field operator takes another box in the clipboard. Plenty of cold steel is in the store for the enemy as Privates James Walker, John Fisher, Standak, Holtery, and Corporal Frank Zvolensky and Private Peter Brodish form a ring of steel. Cute. Another enemy squad has been sighted. They were attempting to reinforce the objective and now have begun a counterattack. You must deal with them. Extra time at it? Yes. 5 more minutes. Whistle blows. New enemy over here. Here we come. They hear something. Okay. Squad can do nothing. He is spent. Mortar can do nothing either. The facing is good. Can we do anything over here? Here we go, hidden enemies. You've used to fire on. They are covering. Give them a shot. Okay, so we're getting some XP over here. Reckoned by Firebond shows weapon range. Maximum weapon range is 5. New enemy. A little bit shaken. Okay. Shows with the range of far they can shoot. That's cool. Nothing else I can really do with our Sarge over here. Only to bolster rally. Bolster and whatnot is just one turn. So we can support artillery. We don't have any people that left either. I could press the MG. The MG only has 1 AP left. It would not make a difference if I would do that. Yeah, because now the NG squad has 1 AP, but it needs 2 to shoot. Fair enough. Field Emperor makes another note on his clipboard. Great exercise so far. The lessons learned from the extended exercise will help save lives over there. The rare valid point. Proceed. New enemy, take them out. Okay, so we have here a little bit of smoke. We can shoot at them. Look like African corps with their turbans and whatnot. Do I want to go with shooting with you guys? Do I want to go with Stern? Let's do with Stern first. Full artillery support. Mortar. Over there. Was right click. My bad. Mortar. Over there. Fire! Boom! What would it do? They are cowering now. Okay, that means we can go over to bolster our MG squad. And then have the MG squad shoot at the enemy. There we go. Ratatatat. Do it again. They're flanked and surprised. It is looking bad with them. Really, really bad. Nothing really I can do over here. Don't need no rallies. Don't need no bolstering. And mortar can also not do. So with that, we're gonna turn his one. The enemy is doing nothing because they're under pressure and kind of like surprised. And over here, we're gonna bolster our group. Bolster. There we go. And we're going for a bayonet attack through the woods, if possible.
Yeah, heroes of the free fucking world here. I know. I'm with you on that.
There we go. The other squad is taken prisoner. No running off this time. Whistles blow. Now the exercise is truly over. Well done. Well done. We got it. No one out of action, sir. Continue. With, I guess, one more time.
Being a strong leader also meant being able to rely on others to help get the job done. That included fellow soldiers who had vastly different strengths and weaknesses than his own.
And so this exercise is over. The Emperor Pencil makes the final notes and the paperwork at the top of the clipboard. Line of victory finished the field problem before turn 3. Draw determined that casualties were acceptable below 20%. Some losses. Schedule maintains. The field umpire says losses will within parameters But the next exercise will not be so easy. Share knowing a look with Sergeant Bennett. Move on to the next exercise. You man get them up, all 3 squads. This is my platoon. Personalize your own officers. First, right-click your leader portrait. Then click on the edit button. You can change your name, portrait, and whatnot. Oh, cool. Schedule is tight while there is still daylight. The next exercise is waiting. I guess we're gonna make our leader now. Edred Pirate. Long time no see. No, can't stay long. Well, welcome in. Love to have you. Let's see what I have the red here. The epic story of a battle. Or lovely lady working in mechanics. Private Joe Lewis says, we're going to do our part and we'll win because we're on God's side. Very confident. Very confident. Send Gorm to war. So, add. Right click. Lieutenants unnamed. You can edit friendly core, comedy squad player character names. Click edits at the bottom right of the field. Oh, we can click and change. Everybody. Lieutenant core mucker. So, kind of a friendly face. Yeah, I'll take that. Like it. So, then we can also have a symbol. Would be cool if you could grab your own insignia. Let's have that wolf. All mindsets activated. Gameplay required strength equals 3. CPA indicates inactive. So, save and edit. Idealism. Doctrine. Compassion. Caution prevents. Dude, they have their own skill tree as well. That is cool. Exit. Then, Wilson over here. Lieutenant Wilson will be portrait not edible. We cannot edit the names of NPC leaders. Damn it. I thought I could. Lieutenant Dearborn and Stern. Them as well, not? I cannot. Okay. That's a shame, but we could, I think, edit the portraits and whatnot. First squad platoon. We're gonna call them the Fangs. Gonna be in the front line. And they're gonna be drinking. Gonna be like this in the woods. Save and edit. Then we have the... Okay, so these are mine ones. First platoon. We got the Fangs. Love that picture. We're gonna call the second one. Claws. And the third crew. Third one will be the pack. So we can give them some points. We have loyalty and prestige 10. So I can upgrade them. They have a little bit of experience. Trust earned. Cost me 10 loyalty. You have even higher trust in my units. Let's give the claws a little bit of XP over here. And let's give us even more trust. Current value is 77. Makes sense. Prestige 5. And then I cannot upgrade them. Fair enough. Done. In Germany, I only get the soundtrack because the game has no age rating. I hate it when they change that retroactively and games disappeared. What exactly do you mean, Dread Pirate? Germany has, in general, kind of weird laws when it comes to history in World War II. Kind of want to put it under a blanket and hide it. 2 houses. 24th September 1942, Virginia, United States. Now the real game starts, actually. That before was, I think, only tutorial. Although we still are in exercises, right? Charles Browns.
No, when we left Fort Leonard Wood, nobody knew where they were going. I mean, they just loaded us on the train. And in fact, we didn't know where we were going until we got close to somebody, how it got out, but somebody said we were going to Camp Pickett, Virginia.
How can you ship off people and not tell them where to go? You men trudge down the road towards the next training site. A jeep comes to the other way, burdened with a big green army bag. Mailbags. Think that's our mail, Lieutenant? Could be something from my parents. There could be something from my wife. Could be something from my sweetheart. Could be something from my wife. Let's roleplay myself. Simon, how you doing? Yeah, Dalmatian, look at that. Ah. Everything is blue. Doodle-doodle-doo. Football training was good. Could be something from my wife. Being separated from your wife is a hard thing. Marriage is supposed to be a bond, but right now the army comes first. They are certainly distracted by the possibility of their own letters too. Sergeant Grant glances between Bennett and yourself, clearly eager for orders. No mailbags for us. Keep marching. Flag down the jeep. Grab the mail for later. Double time march. I should let like people have their mails. Probably would do them. Would let them have the mails and whatnot. Like that on Jeep and schedule a break. Everybody get the letters. We're still in training. You've been in flag down the Jeep and your opposing sergeant does precisely that by standing in the middle of the road and daring the driver to run him down. A brisk discussion results in the transfer of an army sack filled with letters. And since regular rest breaks are part of marches, there is one of those coming up. Now the man will have something to do other than tend their toes. I bet Marcella didn't, right? She doesn't much like how the army deals with her letters. Private Morris says to the lanky soldier marching beside him. Could be worse. The army could try to read her writing. Give a little laugh. Have Sergeant Bennett quiet the men down. Commence the marching. It ends. I'll give you a little laugh. I would be giving this some some chuckle. Oh, interesting. That's some interesting information. Thank you kindly, Dreadpart. A lot of software and games disappeared since they have no rating. That's super weird. Give a little laugh. It's funny and true, although, given the amount of amphibious training that they schedule ahead, the margin of difference might be slimmer than your man might like. Still, a chuckle sweeps the ranks, and that dispel the consideration of the improbability of a hot lunch. The humor continues right up until the field umpire, that's the same captain as before, steps over and signals for you to bring everyone to the holds. This is Integrated Company Command Operations. The Field Empire with the clipboard says his uniform is somehow crisp despite the heat. The good news is that the next exercise is ready. The bad news is that you, Lieutenant, are not. Let's wait for the twist. This will not be repeated of the last exercise, though. Lieutenant Stern and Lieutenant Dearborn will be part of the Blue Force. You yourself will be acting as their captain. You will have limited time to consult with them. Limited time, sir? Sergeant Bennett asks. How limited? The Field Empire taps his watch lightly and then gestures towards the nearby rise. Give us some more time, dude. You argue your point with the Field Empire. He just shakes his head and glances down at the watch, taking the hint you run for the rise. Shit, Sergeant Bennett says as he follows behind. Sounds like they want us to fail again. Over the top of the rise, you find two lieutenants in the midst of conversation. Stern paces about, kicking pine cones up with every step. Across from him is a man of bearing, tall without needing height. His hands clasped slightly behind him, Lieutenant Dearborn. Ah, Lieutenant. We're just discussing strategies while we wait upon the captain. I'm the captain for this field problem. Okay, Lieutenant, Stern says without the slightest pause. Dearborn says nothing, but upon finding your gaze upon him, he tenders over a little nod of understanding of the situation. What do we know of the enemy? A reinforced platoon from Red Force. At least one machine gun. I didn't hear anything about what they are in a briefing, and Umpire may have mentioned it in passing. A warning whistle blows in the distance. The flag goes up from a nearby radio. The exercise is shortly to begin. For now, I'm the captain. So, chain of command, captain. Platoon leaders. The captain can order any unit from any platoon. A platoon leader can only order their squads within their platoon. Oh, interesting. So they really went for the roleplay aspect of actually chain of command. That's cool. I wonder what happens if the platoon leader dies. Then we'll have the captain to take over the whole squads, or can another platoon leader lead them? That's interesting. The captain is a wildcard for orders. He can activate any units in the company regardless of the active leader by using the take command button. Furthermore, a captain can bolster, press, and rally any squad in his company that is merely adjacent to him. So he doesn't have to be within the same town to do that. The captain, interesting. This scenario will play on the map as Captain Lamb so that you can learn about the captain's role. Captain can allow one platoon to really push. A lieutenant might not have enough orders to bolster, press, and rally his squad. Captain can do all that too, and from an adjacent hack, so that he does not get in the lieutenant's way. That's cool.
You may think tactical leadership is all about leading men in combat, difficult moral decisions, but frankly, a lot of it's about coordination, or what the military calls command and control. Wouldn't be a credible leadership RPG without some of that. And you've got some problems, LT. Look at you. You're inexperienced. You've got 4 orders to run 3 squads.
Next be
Contrast the captain. He's got 5 stars. He's got 6 orders to run. Wouldn't it be nice if you had that? Well, maybe someday you will. Now, you're running a platoon. You're not running Stern's weapon platoon. You're running your 3 squads. And the interface reinforces you're spotting them. They're ovals for your platoon. They're also over here. And you have an insignia for your particular platoon. You're reminiscent of the Cottonbalers insignia. And by the way, you can customize that.
Yeah, we did that. The audio of the quality of the tutorials is a little bit jarring. It's not the best, I agree. Oh, a little play of chess I see over here. Luke has another video. Still Imagine is cropped from March 1464 simulation by Max U. The whistle blows. The exercise begins.
Mortars, forward.
So
Quickly
we have some
now.
morale loss. Select captain, rally button. Unlike a regular leader, captain can bolster press and whatnot from everywhere. Okay. So we want to bolster or to rally these guys over here. The squad is getting their shit in gear, but we can. What is the picture? Private Leo came here and takes the time to smell the flowers. Mojave Desert, California. Dude, that is the start of Fallout. Getting in Mojave Desert. Joining the NCU, or what's that faction called again? In Fallout New Vegas? Because of dating and age rating for software can vary depending on the rating authority. That as well can be quite costly. Press the bed into action. Gotta use Bennett, get the man moving again. There's no time to rest, not yet. The press order will expand one leader's order, but then refresh a single order for a squad. This is most often used when the squad is in a bad position, but also spent and can't act. The squad becomes tired and can be pressed again until it's rested, either via rally or the rest command. So we can now press the units over there. Right click. You're getting 1 extra AP.
There's another reason we do lead around, to emphasize another coordination problem, namely coordinating your company of 4 distinct platoons, independently led. That's not easy, and so the rounds force you to choose what platoon is doing what. And
yeah.
There's a last reason. The military likes to say, the enemy gets a vote, meaning they're not going to sit quietly while you do all the wonderful things you'd like to do.
And
they
Sierra,
might
thank
want
you.
to do things that interrupt your plan. Kind of like happens in chess. You get a move, they get a move.
Actually, quite an interesting premise that is, for example, something that I like to use in my Dungeons & Dragons sessions, stolen from the DM from my Vienna production, where I'm joined, the Beyond Level 1 campaign. Highly recommended, by the way. It's out on YouTube, Beyond Level 1. It's in German with subtitles in all languages you want. And later on, we introduced a round system of everybody rolls an initiative round. The highest one goes first, then the enemy, then again the group, then again the enemy, then again the group. Instead of having a whole initiative pool of so many different characters and whatnot. So it's kind of like a back and forth. And so my players can also decide who wants to go first and have like some tactics talk and or planning cool stuff together instead of hoping that their initiative roll is high. So everybody gets 1 turn in a round, and when the round is over, we roll again for initiative if enemy or the players go first. And then again, back and forth. Quite interesting and keeps up the pace a lot. Takes although away the initiative bonus from, I think it's dexterity, and the whole initiative rank as well. Opus, I'm not sure I said hello, but hello, my friend. Nothing like a few sharp words from a sergeant to get the squad moving. Send a messenger to Dearborn. It's his man, and we'll probably have another thing to take care of shortly. No comments, the field operator notes. Expect to see that a captain's time is valuable, which is why you have subordinates that you can act in tandem with. A captain can act in tandem with his subordinates. Exactly. So, use this squad. Weakened by fire there. There they are. Sergeant Bennett calls out, and they are dug in like a dog on Monday. Time for mortars. Even the field umpire makes notes on his clipboard. Time for mortars. A quick wave of flags gets stern attention. It is now a question of targets. So mission victory condition, man victory condition. These are both buttons to click. At highest level VC and highest level VC. The two objectives are marked on your map. Certainly, the refs will tell you when you have officially seized them, and if the enemy has taken them back. They will also tell you if you have inflicted the necessary casualties on the enemy or catch or destroy the key battle units. Okay, fair enough. Casualties happen. You have seen plenty of those before, but regardless of the source, the more casualties a unit suffers, the worse it will be for a fighting unit. But right now, the men are fresh and the objective had not yet been taken. Time to command. Okay. Click on the scenario victory. Victory points 10, victory points 10. Okay, so we want these two houses to be ours. We have here some enemies. Fantastic. So, right click on the support mortars button. Use the captain. Mortars. They're off-map mortars, 105 millimeters. Bam. Sounds a little bit wonky, I think. Should be a nice explosion sound or something like that. Flags go up and the enemy over there register the hits. You have unleashed the 105s instead of the mortars. The Emperor indicates you will recommend artillery identification for you. Now then you still have mortars available to you. Proceed to the overload position and act as a spotter for these lighter rounds. Okay, so didn't like that we used the big artillery on this target. Move the captain here. Right, waypoints. My bad.
So let's see some of these leadership problems of command and control in practice.
I love that the game is like, hey.
We've got an assault situation. We're hoping to take out these Germans here. To make it a little clearer, let's turn on bases. And why don't I bring down one of my squads? Notice up here it's indicating it's going to be my round because I'm doing something. So it's committed to moving my platoon. Now I could move everybody now, but I want to emphasize you don't have to do everything at once. Let's just say I want to pass, see what the enemy does. So I do. Luckily they're pretty passive. I'm going to creep these guys up. I'm going to use hotkeys to make this faster. Now I feel in pretty good position for an assault, but unfortunately it's my round, so I can't really start firing astern. Let's pass. Remember, leadership rounds, command and control.
Okay, fair enough.
Stern's going to soften these guys up, hopefully. It's bolster, of course. You always want to do that to win a firefight. Ah, wow, that was nice. We got them red right away. Let's just do one more to be careful. Though when they're red, you're usually in pretty good shape for an assault. But why not be overly cautious once?
Exactly.
But I want to keep the momentum going. Now here's my problem. What if they've got a leader in there who's going to rally them? The enemy gets a vote, right? So I can't make my assault this leader round because it's Stern's leader round. So
Exactly.
What am I going to do? Ah, this is where your ace in the hole comes in. Your captain.
Fair enough. I understood the spiel. Let's bring them on the thunder. Barrage and objective. Mortars. Let's start with the lower one. There we go. Flags go up. The exercise is paused as the refs check your numbers, then verify things with the rangefinder. Eventually, they agreed that the mortars were effective. That's the math then. They look suppressed, so let's follow up with those buildings before they recover. Destroying enemy capabilities is a key point of exercise. However, there's another small matter. Number points down the hill at where the team of Stern's machine gunners have positioned the big wooden log It represents their Browning 30 cal. Trouble is, the weapon has a blind sight in regards to the southern objective. Wait for the Empire to see the word. Yell the order down to the MG men. You draw in a deep breath and prepare to let your voice carry down. So we have forward, flanking, and rear. It's like the unit where the command to change its facing. So we're going to take command over here. And I'm going to change the facing down here. Oops. Take command, change facing down there. So it's going to swiftly reposition their wooden log. That will have to do. Lieutenant, Captain, you may as they say fire when ready. Order and advance on the objective.
Captain Lamb here can do a couple of things. First, he's going to take this squad. You notice it's spent. And he's going to revive it. He's going to press it, give it an order. Notice he can do this even though it's your round, because he's the captain.
Exactly.
He's going to bolster.
Yeah.
I bet you can see where I'm headed now. And let's do the assault. Notice I get to do my assault during my round.
And he's going with them, the captain.
Hoping for the best. Ha.
And they gave up.
I use the captain to glue my company together, to coordinate my weapons platoon with my infantry platoon.
He's playing that Woody over the boxes.
Use your orders carefully. Place your leadership appropriately. Manage command and control. Command and control on the battlefield is hard. That's why you've got the burden of command.
Hence the title of the game. Exercisable commands in the nearest. 2 houses, 2 objectives. Take these objectives. Okay, so I'm now kind of like free to do what I want. We still have these fellas over there. So they have no points left. We could bolster them. They are pretty low. I have 2 more commands that I could do. What I would like to do is to get another shot of there on those units. We're already loaded in the snake's belly. Target is heavily suppressed. Then you guys, I would like you to have an assault on your own without the captain. Too far. That's bad. And we go together. Still too far. Can I give them even an extra... We could press for that, though. So we could move up here. There's a high chance of me getting shot at. Let's do it. And we're exposed and taking fire. That is not good. I thought they would be suppressed over there. But seems like not. Too far, note the low morale. Fair enough. They're covering. Okay. So, that's that with our lieutenants over here.
Wir gehen nach Hause.
To the next spiel. So, could you simulate us? We'll see about that. First, let's take some shots down there. bring them into some heavy suppression. Shoot some more. Target can be further suppressed. Okay, still leading. That means we still have some mortar power that we can do. That was used already the last turn. Units move only 1 hex, costs 2 orders. Well, I could creep up over here. So, we want control, right click. What? Move the waypoint over there. Fair enough. Spend all my turns.
Hello, LT. I want to talk to you about one last nice aspect of your ace. Your captain. He can influence troops adjacent. Doesn't sound that powerful, but it turns out to be quite efficient. So I'm going to have him bolster, I'll use hotkeys here, this adjacent member of your platoon. You didn't have to pay. Let's bolster these guys. Still didn't have to pay. Notice the enhanced movement. And if you want to be sneaky, you can even take command of one of my, or I'd say one of your platoon squads, and pay their initial activation for their move. That leaves you free to do whatever you might need to do. Assault,
True.
lead firefights, etc. You can also rally. Powerful.
Very powerful. Very powerful. Okay, Captain really does help a lot. So, let's see if we can take these objectives. They are suppressed out there. So we want them. That's too far. We can't do that. What we could do over here is not rally, but bolster.
Cottonbalers, with me.
The group. Gonna run through the open. I'm gonna risk it and run from the open.
Yeah,
Good.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? And then we also gonna bolster. I cannot bolster them again. Fair enough. Okay, then I can use the mortar. To shoot them. They are heavily suppressed. So, they're now covering. So the combat senior leader captain will expand in order. Let's do that. Flag goes up, a reference whistles. Casualty LT, Sergeant Bennett tells you. At least that's how the umpires call it. Casualties inflict stress. So, that's that, and now we can attack the group. Just crapped out, Sergeant Bennett. But maybe we can shift the odds back to our favor. Possible flank.
No can do.
No can do. Interesting. Take a shot.
Find the target and fire.
Probably should focus on the targets over here and not move in there. attacking some unnecessary creepers. So let's press them. Relic, thank you kindly for bringing Lopez into the shield wall. Highly appreciated. So press. You guys. Too far. Because of the low morale. Uh-huh. So, moving down here. Is that so far? I can take a shot. I can bullshit into proof.
Ross, aim high.
Let's take some shots. Ranked angle. Oh, he corrected the angle of the MG squad, and therefore they're both got experience. Interesting.
Fire, fire.
That is not intriguing. To his left 4. The liberator crackles, one of the wrath cups in hand. Who are they? All my men are accounted for? Are they? Apparently so, but it's now your responsibility to get those men out of their exercise area, because they'll have a nickel company man for a while. Activate these units. What a commute. And move them away from the training exercise. Are you guys moving? I did activate it, but apparently it didn't work. Okay, looks like that is broken. Not really. We want to bolster. I didn't really, by the way. Welcome in. Bolster these.
Come on!
And we're attacking. Goodbye to church. Okay, looks like the... Can I restart this? Return. Okay, it looks like I have to move forward with the rounds. 3 turns left. Major victory not level possible. Just got a nod. With them not being happy with our work not working out. with our work not working out. So, what we're gonna do is a high chance of us getting in trouble. I cannot move over there? What the hell? to walk towards there. Okay, interesting. Be up here so I can give them an press order so they get 1 AP. And then I can also bolster them just a little bit. And then they can do a flanking attack. And they give up. Okay. It's 1 down, 1 to go. As the other crew will remain as they are. Let's move. Let's move. We're gonna flank them from over here then. Is what it is. Not the most convenient. So switching turn. Looks like the enemy's not really doing something. Luckily for us. That means we are bolstering them here.
Put them in the ground.
We're calling mortar fire on that place. Good. And afterwards, we are telling to fire on that objective. Already covering. I don't mind. Do it again. Can we make our soldier ready? We're gonna do that next turn. 2 turns left. Field Emperor takes another box on the clipboard. So it's a glance on his watch. So, you, my dear lieutenants. Now we're gonna make it like this. Gonna be taken over by the Capitan. And you're gonna charge in there. Hiya! There we go. We got both houses. Flags up. What the hell? Something big. Enemy bombardment. Okay, we got the major victory. That's fantastic. Good. That was Burden of Command, my dear Vikings. Lots of decision making, turn-based combat, a good idea of how to roleplay your commander, depending on how you choose and how you react and command. Your men will like you, your superiors will like you. It will both have benefits and negatives, and I think it's a very interesting premise to have that going. We're very close to starting and seeing the proper campaign start. But I think that part we're going to keep for when we have the interview with Luke, the developer behind it. So thanks a lot for tuning in. For those watching this on YouTube today or tomorrow, feel free to join us live on twitch.tv/QuartermarkerTV for our interview. More infos in the Discord. Thanks a lot for tuning in.